I am going to support this and the 1, 2, 3, 4 other increases that are going to go with it. When I'm sitting in a situation where I think I have an obligation to explain why I am asking residents to pay a little bit more to provide for the city services. I think it's important to note that the original budget request to the city $1 million. We're now down to a little bit over 100. So I want to thank the city manager for his work with and the department heads and the schools on understanding what we can and cannot afford and try to bring it to some area where I think we can all live with it. Money we raise on all these items, and I've got a lot of friends who are just absolutely no taxes, it's terrible, it's awful, and everything else like that. And I've got friends that says just keep raising taxes because we've got the lowest tax rate. Don't subscribe to either of those views, but I do think that we do need and have times where we do need to have additional revenue. And I think this is, I think it needs to be understood like anybody else's budget, because we're always being chastised, you know, run like a business and you should be able to do this, that, and the other thing and cut. I think what a lot of people need to understand is government at the local level is different than the arguments that are going on at the state and federal level. We're basically providing services. The hot water is on, the water turned nice, it's swept. There's policemen and firemen getting ready to respond, and we have good educational opportunities for our children. We are providing those services, and the vast majority of our budget is people. It's not programming or anything else. So when you're looking at almost 80+% of your budget being people, there's not a lot that you can do. And then, like other households or businesses, we have expenditures that we frankly cannot get around. Insurance continues to go up. You know, everybody, if you're employees, you want to keep your employees happy, and basically what we've got is a cost of living here for city employees. And of course, the governor said we need to do more for our teachers, and I don't think anybody around this horseshoe disagrees with that, and thus the additional funding for the schools. We also had a lot of things in this particular budget year that we have no control over. We have a regional jail issue and incarceration issues that continue to rise, and we have a formulaic situation where we have to pay our obligation. That's not something we can dodge. I am encouraged when the public gets engaged in the conversation. I enjoy the give and take, and I hope that that continues because, frankly, we're facing a lot of hurdles in the coming years. You know, a penny for the water issue on one hand, when we're also dealing with water and sewer issues, which is even a bigger issue that we're going to have to tackle to the tune of $60+ million over the next few years. There's a lot facing us, and I do look forward to continued community involvement. But what I'm saying, I guess, tonight is to the public, yes, I'm asking you to contribute more, and I think what you are getting for that contribution is to build a better community, better schools, better fire, and better services. And I think it's a good investment of the money, and I plan to support the budget and the increases presented. Thank you.
Council Devine.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, it's never easy to vote to raise taxes, but it makes it easier when the money is staying locally and that money is serving a very necessary purpose. So I just wanted to actually thank staff and all those who participated in the process this year. We had a lot of participation, partly due to a lot of interest in the school issue, and we still have not resolved that. So please, stay involved. But those who participated by emails or phone calls or coming to meetings, we really do listen, and we really do try to respond as best we can. So, and again, this is an answer to that. Again, our hope in providing adequate funding for teacher raises, is that it does just that. We are certainly hoping that that money does, go directly to the, increase in teacher salaries, because it's definitely something that is needed. And again, for those who are very involved, I would recommend that people stay involved and perhaps even go a step further, contacting state representatives. When it comes to funding for small cities, we really do come out at a disadvantage. The composite index does not work in our favor for school funding. And so please help us help the community by maybe reaching out to state representatives as well. The more voices they hear, the better for that as well. So just again, please stay involved, stay tuned, and thank you.
Councilor Duffy?
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with what everyone has said. A special thanks to the staff who put together such a great document for us to understand the financial situation for the city. I also want to add that being on City Council, you get to serve on lots of boards and commissions and get to see how this money is used, and the kind of the work ethic and effort that staff throughout the city display. I happen to serve on the Parks, Recreation, and Events Commission, the Social Services Commission. I work in city schools, so I know the tireless efforts that people put in and what they are able to do with the resources that the citizens of Fredericksburg give them. And it's remarkable, and so I'm grateful for the work that's done throughout the city, and that and what the citizens do to give the resources that we need. And I guess I'd say I do look forward to the continuing discussion with the city schools and residents as we plan for school capacity, as we continue to look at that issue. It's obviously one of the biggest issues we have in front of us, but it's one of the most important things municipalities do is educate our children, and so I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Weathers.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have a lot to add to what everyone has said, but I want to thank staff for a great budget. I mean, they actually cut about $15 million out of the city staff budget. I'm not talking about school budget now. So they've pared this thing down quite a bit. As far as raising the taxes, one of my main concerns is I think we need to spend money to save money. We don't want to lose our employees. We don't want to train a fireman or a policeman or a teacher and then have them go to another jurisdiction because they can make another $1,000 or so. So I think it's important for us to the retention of our employees is for me is one of the most important things that we have to raise taxes sometime to make sure that they are properly paid. So I want to thank everybody involved. 5 cents is a low. There's no question about it. But it's needed. It's really needed. So thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. I also would like to thank the staff for all of the hard work on what really is a very excellent budget, a balanced budget, carefully apportioning, our funds among the very necessary services that we provide. As Councilor Kelly pointed out, here at the local level, we are doing very essential services that, touch every citizen every day. And it's easy for that thought to get lost. Don't confuse us with state and federal. We're really where the rubber meets the road, and I would like to echo Councilor Devine's thought that it would be really helpful for our citizens to recognize what needs to be done at the state level to assist localities, or at least to see that we don't lose any funds. we say sometimes, and I don't think it's an oversimplification, that the state balances its budget on the backs of the locals' budgets, because what they don't fund, or what they promise to fund and then insist on a local match, comes right back down to us and to our property owners. So I welcome the engagement. We've enjoyed the engagement always in our budget process, but stay engaged at a state level as well, because there are some things we have been trying to accomplish, and the CSA is that was mentioned is one of them. But most of all, thank everybody for their participation. Thank the staff for the hard work, because our staff is lean, absolutely lean. We accomplish a lot with some people, some of whom wear multiple hats. We really do, and we need to appreciate that. So, at any rate, having said that, I'll call for the vote.
Madam Mayor, first I'll make first read, setting the real estate tax rate at 85 cents per hundred of assessed value real estate for fiscal year 2020.
Second.
Mm-hmm.
Motion passes 6-0.
All righty. Second read will be at the May 14th meeting.